Hey everyone, we're back with some Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Episode 3, The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Last we left off, we're trying to subpoena the mysterious engineer that worked on this potentially murderous machine. The case took a whole day to gather more evidence and find this mysterious engineer. Also, Susato's back. Hello, this room. It's been too long. It hasn't changed in the slightest, though. It's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you left it. But it has been some 6 months, it's true. Was your father alright, Susie? What happened? My father? Yes, Professor Mikotova. I mean, he was half a year ago, but that's why he went back to Japan. Because of the telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason. That's right. So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised, but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you. That it was all a trick. My father's in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that. Well, we're all delighted to have you back. It's quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium. The International Forensic... Anyway, we're safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris. Oh. You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan. Yes, of course. I shall. And there's one other thing. Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. About you know who. I know. I'll tell you all that I can. Now one thing at a time. When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, all this mood changed entirely. The awful trial? Oh yes. For the murder of Giselle Brett. Ooh. You dressed as Amanda, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it! Don't you, Runo? Yes, I suppose so. I wanna play being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe. I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Miss Susato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikotova summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter it was something to do with the convict sloop we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings. That's right. The very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet. Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answers for myself. And I've decided I, for one, won't keep any more secrets. Susie! Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend. Yes, and from Japan. My father and Judge Jijoku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikoto is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Yes, His Excellency, Justice Jijoku. You met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year, in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten. That terrible trial of yours when you were accused of murder? Ah, yes, I try to think of it as a positive turning point in my life these days. Well, it was Judge Jijoku who presided over that trial. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy to never see that man's face again in my life. Oh, well, anyway. As father was invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I can wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end he agreed to me going on ahead. Yes, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General. The most senior position in the British justice system. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what father said anyway. Apparently it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition. Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech all about this very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to much of it. I'll try and query you. You know, he probably monologued his whole villain in speech and you just missed it. Yes, Giselle Brett. That's the name I won't forget for as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out that an English woman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist. Didn't exist? But how can that be? It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin. And she wasn't a visiting student either. That was her front. Front? Who on earth was she then? This A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery. But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could the woman have been up to? I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand. And now she's been killed. All the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. I'm afraid so. A. Shin. After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange. I know the truth. I know he had a hand in what went on. In that visiting student's fate. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it.
You don't know what, that the guy never made it to England? That he died on that steamship. And that he'll never.
Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later, I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama.
And what did you learn?
After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consulate staff there.
Could have been?
Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It just disappeared.
What? Kosu's body vanished?
The government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except, Kazuma-sama isn't there.
Did Professor Mikotoba know about this?
Yes, it was seen that he did. But he didn't tell me. We're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak.
I just don't believe it. You know, in the Ace Attorney series, you've seen, quote-unquote dead people come back to life. It's a possibility. Looking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Furia were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Could it be that he's actually still alive?
Stop it, Mr. Naruhodo. It's too much to bear.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Shon was there, wasn't he? And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly.
You're right. So if Kazuma-sama hadn't actually been dead at all, it would have been that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us.
But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing.
I suppose that's true, yes.
The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it, because if it turned out not to be true, then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what that might do to me.
Oh, this is Sato. Sorry, I just didn't mean to ignore you.
It must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it The Helm of the Baskervilles.
But then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it. And put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it.
So nobody knows anything about it, apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason... You knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Helm of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. And you wouldn't tell me. How do you come to know it? Yes, but I made you a promise that I will explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time. Oh. I'm only sorry I had to keep it from you for so long, Iris. It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study, and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, "The Hound of the Baskervilles."
What?
A Baskerville story? Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time. My father came in, and...
Susato, what are you doing?
Oh, Father.
Did you look at those papers?
No, I simply read the label, that's all.
Well, put it out of your mind.
Sorry?
Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand? But what was Iris' manuscript doing in Japan?
I have no idea. When I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed. That was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholmes' exploits. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions. And there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well.
So, you're fully abreast of the situation already, Mr. Sato? I expected nothing less, to be honest.
I would think our first port of call should be to investigate this Mr. Trevor. The engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick.
Yes, a conjurer of sorts by the sound of it, well known in the fields of science and magic.
Then we need to go and arrest him.
Well, yes. He must know the truth behind this case. So I agree, we really do need to find that man.
It's not like the case of tracking someone down. It's just a job for the police, or a great detective.
You don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think.
Good idea. Well, let's look then.
Oh, you're not coming today?
I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market.
Is it ancient England, right?
But let me know later how you got on, won't you?
My fresh herbs are no jerk. Oh. Let's see if anything's going on downstairs. nobody's home. Aw, puppy.
I had no idea there were so many people in the world.
I know what you mean. It's really packed here today.
It feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way to the castle to this point.
Has it? I shut my brain down so I didn't really notice, to be honest.
Gosh, I do wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry, my controllers do this sometimes for no reason. Zach Gregson? Oh, Inspector Gregson. I see your hardest work as usual. Warm greetings to you. I do hope you've been keeping well since last we met. What's with all the ceremony? We just saw each other in court this morning. Not you, Sunshine. The gentleman so loyally at your side.
Huh? Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice.
As you probably guessed, we're hoping to investigate the scene room some more. Right. Well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi! Get over here, Gina!
Oh, she's a cute puppy. She seems to be busy playing with the puppy. Yeah? He's a police officer now?
Amazing, isn't it? He's a good kid, actually. Not in the right place, anyway. He's got the detection bug, if you ask me. Yep, I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely. What do you mean? I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say toodaloo to London.
Oh no, really?
That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted then?
We'll come to see how you're getting along.
Not likely. But you're welcome to try. If you don't mind a trip to France, that is. To France? I'll be working in the Paris Police Prefecture. Should be right up my alley. But France? It's an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there? Do you even speak French? That's the way the adult world works, Sunshine. Now don't go poking your nose in where it's not wanted. I'm intending to take the kid with me when I go. What? You're taking Gina to Paris? Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what will become of her?
I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruhodo. I think he's worried about the Reaper.
Oh.
I mean, she's still fine.
Anyway, I haven't mentioned any of this to Gina, so don't go blabbing, you hear me? No, of course not. I gotta keep that Diamond Diva safe and sound. Until all this is over, at least.
Why? You just call me a blue Diamond Diva again?
So you heard that, did you? Right, well. Any questions about the scene, you can put into my capable detective diva here.
Alright, you're the boss. Inspector Lestrada's in charge here now.
Gina, you've got a new dog, have you? Aww.
Isn't he great? Toby's his name. Oh, how delightful! He's absolutely adorable.
Is the dog named after Gregson? Shall we do help you some more? Tell me about that dog. Where'd you find that little butt then, Gina?
Oi! Don't be so flaming rude, Odo.
Slight overreaction, don't you think?
Ain't no mud, alright? Toby's... how do they put it? Oh yeah, a bona fide detective.
Oh, look at this Yogo. With the yellow scarf. Sorry?
I give him proper time on everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby to you. So he's a police dog, is he?
The police recruited dogs now?
I heard that they're already being used officially in Germany as part of your city policing.
Yeah, it's always Germany.
Used for chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell after all.
I have a very good sense of smell myself, as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from undergarments that haven't.
That's nothing compared to this little fellow, though.
Oh, really? And does dog do my laundry, Gina?
According to what the boss said. Once Toby here's got a good whiff of your drawers. You can chase that scent to the other side of the world.
What? The other side of the world? You mean... you can swim?
Mr. Naruhodo. I think he may have missed the point by a rather wide margin.
I just can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill.
I'm telling you, Odo, there's gonna be more and more dogs doing their bit for the police in the future.
Aren't they, Toby?
Yes, I agree. Right. One of these days they'll be barking orders at us lot, not the other way around. Oh dear. Sorry, Gina, I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much. Well, anyway, whatever you think about that, Toby here is Britain's first police dog. I found him down the East End the other day. Someone had just chucked him out on the street. Oh, Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? The children and the animals.
Who would have been this cute little doggy? Gina? We're actually hoping that we can investigate this scene again.
Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like.
What? Oh, that's right, is it?
I'm gonna be playing with your new friend here.
Same, Gina.
The machine next loaded must be at the top of those stairs, I presume? I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind. Alright, you can't go up there, Suze. Oh. It's like I told Odo yesterday. You and I ain't allowed near that wreck. What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it? The special...
A special dispensation for scientific equipment act? Is that what you were thinking of?
That's the one. That's why only them lot are allowed to investigate it. What are they called again? The forensic something?
The forensic investigation team? Is that what you were thinking of?
That's the one, yeah. But isn't it the case that the special dispensation has been lifted? I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with you. You're still supposed to get permission from some bigwig, or rather, as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something?
Dr. Strange is here.
I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Strongheart, perhaps? That's the one, yeah. Apparently, he's always watching the time or something.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, great. It was great, weren't it? I had a right lie. It was a new on me, that. You know, you and Court not spending the whole time worrying not about to be found out. You did keep an awful lot of secrets in all your previous court appearances, didn't you? Yeah, I noticed make things odd for me every single time and all.
Just doing my job, Gina.
But watching someone else getting in the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It's amazing when you showed that dodgy professor's dodgy experiment was a total fix. The dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Naruhodo's client.
Yes, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though.
I suppose I feel sorry for. Didn't have to do the impossible. What do you mean? He's supposed to arrest that other cove, ain't he? And in time for tomorrow and all. I know, the dodgy engineer. What's his name again?
Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber?
That's the one, yeah. I spend too much on the boss if you ask me. He says he's getting into a gut ache.
Are you sure it's not his infinite fish and chips?
Oh dear. I do wonder if that isn't actually from all the fried food.
The Scotland Yard are trying to backtrack down Mr. Enoch Drebber. Wonder if they had any luck.
He's really funny looking. Got two eyes what don't match. Saw a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it or nothing. The old devil's got it.
Sorry? Who?
You know, that scowling reaper's what's always glugging down glasses of that blood-red plunk. Ah,
Boy Vinzeeks.
He's always had it in for me, that cove. Don't know what he's always scowling about, mind. I would have been a pretty good boss as it goes.
The way I see it, if the choice is between a chip-guzzling detective and a chalice-glugging demigod, you're equally badly off with both.
I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that. Anyway, the point is, everyone at the yacht did sit and find the fishy engineer. There don't seem to be no clues to go on. They're just stuck.
I guess we should be talking to Lord Strongheart to get permission.
It's amazing looking down everything from up there. I love high places, me.
Really? If I'm honest, I can't stand looking down at the ground when I'm high up. I always have to look up.
Shame. I want to show you what it's like. But ain't no point now.
Why not?
If all you're gonna do is look up at the sky, I ain't gonna be able to look down on you. With you, sorry. I mean, I don't look down on you or nothing. If you don't want to do it, it's your choice.
I didn't think I'd ever go up in a balloon, to be honest. Not my whole life. But now I'm starting to think I might like to.
You're just scorching on the ground, you mentioned?
Yes, and there's what's left of the green balloon's envelope. All clear evidence of the balloon that exploded on the day of the incident.
Poor Professor Harebrain. I do feel sorry for him that his dreams have been shattered like this.
Someone's fun truly burst his bubble, as it were. Inosuke, you gotta reel in the sass sometimes. Ooh, who's that? Huh. Who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart?
I wonder. Never seen her before.
Young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result. Oh. You mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment? Sham science being demonstrated at London's Great Exhibition. Countries seem made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrabbling to respond. Lord Venzies is in Whitehall as he speak, in an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. A special dispensation that prevents an investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, our forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time.
Until later then, Lord Strongheart.
Yes, thank you. Who was that? That was Dr. Courtney Seth, Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. Is this it, or Seth? She's leading the forensic investigations team handling up this case. She's just delivering her report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to re-evaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensics laboratory. Ah, right. No. What were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before? The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created a forensic investigation team a year ago now, unofficially of course, to pave the way.
Goodness, a year ago?
At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to impose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. And once that happens, the position of the Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly. What do you mean? For too long, these scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London scum is about to be rounded up and burned in the fires of hell. I intend to see to it personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known, to protect our honor and our future. Dr. Scent is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially established the forensics division at Scotland Yard, you were running as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikotova.
Oh, yes, my lord?
Your father should be on high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand you arrive at the beginning of next month.
Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? With Professor Mikotova, I mean. It was many years ago now, but yes. I remember Dr. Mikotova very well.
Tell me more, tell me more.
If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
It was the year I was born. So yes, 16 years ago in fact.
Mikotova was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jikoku accompanied him as a young, promising judge. The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way. I didn't think that you were. But the Mikotova studied forensics in one of London's large hospitals. St. Sinners, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Saif was also there then, as it happens.
Then, Dr. Saif knows my father, does she?
He was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I have no doubt they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikotova was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total. 6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it?
I lived with my grandmother those years.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Oh.
Perhaps father wanted a reason to get away.
What do you mean? Why? I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zeeks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right? You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper. What? Why? When his brother, Clint Van Zeeks, was murdered. It was just after young Baroque had graduated from the University of London and become a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing, rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that wherever Baroque Van Zeeks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind. It's a stand.
Oh my word.
So, Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper. It's the ghost of his brother? Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles. Oh yes, Lord Strongheart. Go ahead. It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains, if possible. Are you well versed in science, then? Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently. With a special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine, it's currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Sai's team of forensic experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there is no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing. Thank you.
I hope you was here too.
Your time is up. You have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls.
We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you're so busy, my lord.
I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand.
And there he goes. Let's go to the laboratory.
Spooky. I believe this is it. Dr. Sai's laboratory.
It looks as though the doctor isn't here. But we're here now, so we may as well do some sightseeing, don't you think?
What a seasoned tourist you've become, Mrs. Sato.
You're gonna get cursed.
What's up, Skelly? You're impressed by the case? Mrs. Sato. Can't you tell I'm trying very hard to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case? It's how I cope. Some people take out woodworking to cope, Mrs. Sato. Why would that be better? Poison is the greatest spice, don't you know? They're almost definitely not, Ryunosuke. Denial is only gonna get you so far, Ryunosuke. They're just pickles. Nothing on this cart. I think that's it. More time? Doesn't look like I missed anything. Think out the book. Let's go down. Embezzling. Personal uses. 500. Yeah, 500 still sounds like a lot, that's fair. Uh-oh. Sorry, we that's something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so... So you thought you'd snoop around? That's acceptable to you people from the east, is it? Well, what do you want? Lord Strongheart still told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Asmon's body, I mean. So he came to ask you about your findings. On Lord Strongheart's advice. Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what investigation revealed. But when we're done here, you must leave immediately. And her outfit is sick. So, you want to know what the forensic investigation team determined from an examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Odiasman, who disappeared from the experimentation stage amid an explosion, and Mr. Asman, who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower, were without question one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion. But that can't be right. If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out.
Let's see. If two people who look very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as one seeking person had switched places, couldn't they?
Very true. But sadly, in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person. The fingerprints at the scene make that quite evident. Fingerprints. They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system. But one day, they will be used as investigative aid as a matter of course.
Oh my. But that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So, where does that leave us?
My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions. Plague mask. I was expecting this.
Oh no, what is this?
Ah! This is a lawyer, dear.
Oh.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. Yes, you know her.
Mama,
Yes.
can I cut this one up?
What?
I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like.
Of course you can. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see.
Boring. Oh dear.
There's an arrow. Rhoda, you're pale as a corpse. Been asleep before I'm mistaken for one. Anything else to say? So, what are you doing at the moment, Doctor? Keeping a close eye on things so no imprudent Easterners think they can look around my office. Are there such impertinent Easterners around? How terrible. Yes, you. It doesn't mince her words, Mrs. Sato.
I think perhaps it's time we left.
You know, Mrs. Sato, this was your idea, I blame you. Then we can come back here to investigate.
Boy, don't leave us up there. Try to sneak past me again, I'll stuff your gob full of the boss's fish and chips.
Yes, please, I love fish and chips. I suppose you need special permission. Maybe you're ready to get permission. Should I just tell her? Yeah, there we go. Gina. We're actually hoping that we can investigate the scene again.
Yeah, alright. Just around here, you can do what you like.
You can get with Toby. And big woofers. Without permission, why do you have to go through all this again?
We just recently been to see Lord Strongheart. Yeah, you what? You've met him? Last time the boss was called and go and see him. He waited for 3 hours at the Co's office and came back sniveling. Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene, as long as we touch nothing. Oh yeah?
Honestly.
Alright then, go ahead. If it turns out you're lying, it'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying all this above board, are you? I'm sure everything will be fine. Alright then, there's the stairs. Off you go. Well, thank you, Gina. There's that much junk on the ground before. Oh my. This is a machine. I was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place. Hey, Jabon Star, thanks for the lurk.
Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It's a little worse for wear at the moment.
What extraordinary lengths Professor Herbrand went in order to obtain the research grant.
No, the professor is tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it.
Yes, of course. It is amazing though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British.
You're right about that. You never see such a grand decision in Japan, that's for sure.
Oh look, is that?
More fantiques? Just materialize in the middle of thin air. So I think we're more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Mr. Sato?
Already?
He is the Reaper, remember? We do well to keep our distance, I think.
We have permission to be here, from the top. You're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine, as long as we don't touch anything.
From the top? Do you mean Lord Strongheart?
Exactly. We can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we like. What a terrible explosion must have been. Even steel girders have buckled and twisted in the blast.
And what they call the bird case was right in the middle of it all, just here.
But look, Mr. Naruhodo, that metal grill on the floor. Look at those designed to open.
It does, doesn't it? But then how do they get it into the balloon and into the crystal tower? Also, get better taste in both, Naruhodo. Onions are great. Funsies. Guess you're gonna say. What? This is Sato, you don't have to tease him about it. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Stuff's changed since last time. Okay, let's see what we got here. I think it's a little busted up. Otherwise, mostly in one piece. And that's it. Yeah, can't ignore him forever.
Nice shot, Naruhodo. Your country and your assistants stand firm behind you.
Lord Benziques? What? Well, beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Well, the thing is...
Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate. On the condition that we didn't disturb anything.
And yet you've managed to disturb me.
Gotcha.
Never mind. State your business then.
Let's go, Mr. Naruto. You won't know unless you try.
So, Clint? What's the name of your older brother, I understand? Or Benziques? You Nipponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no, it's not like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He's the pride of the Benziques family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? Is something funny? That's the extent of what you discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? So tell me, what's your interest in that historic incident?
As it happens, Lord Benziques, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Tussauds Museum of Waxwork by any chance?
I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I featured in one of the displays there, for public scorn.
Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom.
A particular waxwork? Wait, you mean? Yes, it's the professor. Mr. Schoenson is investigating the case as we speak. I was unaware of that. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already? Surely that goes without saying. We're very keen to see him found as well. The trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier.
Which, according to Professor Hairbrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman with straight white hair and with a black monocle.
So I was just wondering, I mean, really is probably not possible, but
we very much appreciate any more clues you can give us.
Fine, why not? I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago.
Yeah, this dude would probably be hard to miss, huh?
Well, it appears he already had that black monocle at the time. What? Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us. We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow. It seems you have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph? Well, if this isn't your apprentice... The father requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you. Are you alright?
Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo?
Lord Van Zeek's apprentice, apparently.
Lord Van Zeeks? May we speak with your apprentice for a moment?
With him? Why?
Kazuma-sama!
He stopped. Huh?
Your posture, your presence. It can only be. It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama?
Get that mask off of him. Wait! Don't walk away. What's going on here? Where did you get your apprentice, Van Zeeks? What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something. Well,
Since when is he even in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago.
Old Strongheart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you why, did he? The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself.
He has amnesia?
Surprise, surprise. They're all here in court at my side. What? He's to serve as my judicial assistant, on Lord Strongheart's orders. Now, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course. Oh. Yes, thank you.
You'd already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. Yesterday, in fact, at Lord Fenty's office.
See. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us.
I know. You're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems. What sort of problems? Foreign affairs problems? Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mrs. Sato.
Of course.
We don't have to start a whole conversation over again, do we? Okay, continue to look at Toby. Look at his little beans.
Look at this, though. Hey, want anything else to show me, eh? What you reckon?
Give that back first, please. You can't steal this, can she?
I really don't know what else to ask about. My, no wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectioner. I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but there's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere.
That's strange. He should be here investigating the deduction of the waxwork. Or being a waxwork. Well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Are you sure he's not behind the curtain? Is that the smash? Full moveset, huh? I think good for you, Susato. You can take down Jack the Ripper. A step ladder, look. Is something wrong, Rinosuke? And that one undercover cop isn't here either. If he's not here, he's not here. I see everyone's been busy. What's he doing?
He's... My, the whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations.
And he's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. And who is this young lady?
My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Oh, if only I met a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all.
Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you.
I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. Oh no, no. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair. It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot.
Professor Harebrain, what have you been working on yourself?
Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see. I simply had to write it down. That was all I had to hand. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to suppress hyper high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, actually, this is my autobiography.
Your autobiography?
How I was diddled and fiddled by Albert Harebrain. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations.
Really?
I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see. There's going to be a new serial publication from next month. Part 1. An odd upbringing. And the tiny little pamphlet. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talk a little more about the case? Oh yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled, I was fiddled, by the pair of them. By Aslan, and by the aloof engineer Drebber. Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Aslan, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry to come to this. There's really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public.
No, of course you didn't.
But in court this morning, I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you're aware of it or not. Ignorance is a pure, humble excuse. The blame still lies with me.
Oh, Professor.
He believed in me this morning, you know. Brock did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Barack wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Maybe... I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Barack, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense.
And in that case, you have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor.
Exactly. Which would have been a fate worse than death for me. The Brockis is that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written, and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused, he was so emphatic. But in reality, he is the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic, it probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. For the scale of it, it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all that, only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe. It is, I agree. And so you have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asman is no more, of course, because he's only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Trevor. Let's talk about it. Is he an engineer, or magician, or swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Asman first brought Trevor to me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist. Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep, scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us as to his whereabouts? I'm sorry. We've only ever discussed the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although, just once. I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Trevor's enormous fabrication laboratory, where he constructed my great machine. Why didn't you mention this before? So you've been to Trevor's place of work, then? Yes, just once, you understand. It is an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance we'll find Trevor there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure. As in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry. I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible! Up at the pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. The indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formula and use that instead. What do you think, Mrs. Otto? Oh, the machine for your next birthday?
I never use any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor. You don't have a business card for Mr. Driver, for example.
Yeah, I was clearly very cautious, Mrs. Otto. I'm sure you never have... Aha! Yes, I do! He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look. What? Let me see that.
Enough, Driver.
Engineer.
I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address.
No. Oh, I can't say I'm surprised. I think these little symbols might mean something. Or just smudge. That's gonna be important somehow. Meanwhile, these two symbols look like a positive and negative point, possibly? Like a battery. Yeah, there's definitely something we missed over here. Can I really not go back up? Not this, Gina.
Yeah, I'm still learning me letters at the moment. I don't know way to eat, so if ain't too much bleeding trouble. Actually, Gina, it's the back of the card that's important. Eh? How come? There's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all. It turns out that This is very high quality French machine oil. There's a very particular scent apparently. You don't say! Let's have a whiff then. You sure? I don't smell nothing.
No, we didn't mean that you should smell it.
Oh, right. I mean Toby.
You sit on a clue for us, aren't you, Toby? Isn't it so good he can track people over the ocean, can he?
Professor Harebrained warns us that his oil is unique to Mr. Jabber's workshop. So I mean, if falls us into this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy Coast workshop? That's right. That's exactly what we were hoping. Alright then, we'll give it a go. I'll just borrow that.
Wait, when did you...
I can lead everyone to that Jabber's workshop. I'll be the boss's boss before next week. Oh yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted. Right then, Noto. Give it to me.
Alright.
You're gonna get going after that dodgy engineer code right this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty here all the time.
I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with the investigation as well, Gina.
Oh, right. Oh well, never mind. It ain't gonna be me what gets in the neck. It can be the boss. Hey, Toby. Not that I want to say that, have ya? Come on then, boy. See you later. I do hope the scent of that oil leads him to that swindler's workshop.
Yes, I hope so too. I believe before the dog swims across the channel to France. Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can here for now. If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Jabber.
I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then. I think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point. Yeah, things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months.
Yes, it's quite possible he might know something useful, you're right. We have to find out about him to spells. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit.
Yes, Ash told me all about his latest unusual venture. Here we are again at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't got used to the place yet. I still like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Be the confectionery, of course.
What's the matter?
Look, Mr. Naruto. Look at that waxwork. I'm quite sure it wasn't there before.
Oh, there he is.
It's exactly Mr. Sholmes down to the very last detail.
Huh.
What is it?
Oh, sorry. I think you'll find...
The friend of my dedicated employee.
Oh, yes, hello again. It's Ryunosuke. Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
I must say, I'm quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is arrayed back where it belongs.
You don't mean...
But yes, the mystery is solved already.
Wow.
So as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties.
Yes.
His habitual duties? Alas. Do not disturb, huh?
Let me kick him again.
We really do need to see Commissioner Holmes, and I'm longing to say hello again. But where is he?
I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually.
Oh, what do you...
Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I. The world-famous great detective and waxwork, Sherlock Holmes. Susato-san! Susato-san! My most humble apologies.
I died and gone to Eternal Paradise for a moment. Via London.
My dear man, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free introduction at some point. As long as it's not a questionable street food quality.
I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes?
Merely a secret identity, you understand? Though the case is largely solved now.
Largely solved?
We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume? Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess, I had to partake of pie, proverbial or otherwise, or any foods of our day for that matter. You're not gonna make a very good waxwork if your stomach's rumbly. So how did you manage to solve it so quickly? Oh, well. You remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone?
Oh yes, this most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet.
This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned.
That's amazing.
Just between you and I. It would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event.
Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no?
Yes. I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding their true motive.
But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary?
The fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame Tussauds at all costs. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street, after all. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork? We're in the process of trying to track somebody down. Oh.
Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Trevor. He's a swindler who duped Professor Hairbrain, and the engineer who built the kinesis machine.
A swindler and an engineer. Quite the modern man. He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have so few clues to go on. That's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of the man's appearance, at least, I may be in a better position to help. Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I shall gladly give you my thoughts on it. Now we can do that right now. So, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print? Is that Mr. Enoch Trevor? The face of the engineer we seek. Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course. So looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive. Are you alright, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, forgive me. Very interesting, this. Very interesting indeed.
What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You turned quite pale all of a sudden.
Anyway, Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? My dear Mr. Naruhodo, hate that piercing stare. What's this about?
Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship, the words were very clear.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder.
He told us that it was murder. And you examined Cosmo-sama's body.
Indeed. And wherein lies the problem? We met him earlier today. The victim, Kazuma Asogi. You're quite sure?
He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure. It was Cosmo-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead.
Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere at the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all. Priceless. I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruhodo? I can believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake. But not you, Mr. Sholmes. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Sholmes. Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me? Oh, well, what is it? As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned. And I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Oh yes, the professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it? For mere 5 shillings. It's a special one-time only price, you understand. What? The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor? Trevor is the professor, isn't he?
Huh. Well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone.
The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it's well worth it. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes? Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if this is serious or silliness. I can never tell with you, that's the point.
Very well, it couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings.
Carefully received. So the special exhibit awaits behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure. What do British people say, leisure?
Well, the money's been spent, so let's go and see the special exhibit.
$5 you got to pay. Doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it?
No. We could ask Gina to retrieve it for us, using her special skills.
Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. Is this what makes Britain great? Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands or chip-loving inspectors.
Inspector Gregson comes off rather well on that list, I think.
Also, Mr. Sholmes says he's starving, Naruhodo. Have a heart. He's got a child to feed. Yeah.
Oh dear, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here.
Mrs. Sato, I say we turn on our heels and go straight home. We have a really big confectionery.
We certainly can't do that. We paid 5 shillings already.
True. That's a sunk cost fallacy. Actually, now that I'm looking a little more closely, we've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place.
This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved.
How much is that an hour?
Yes, we get what we paid for.
No, I believe it's called a zombie in this instance, Sato. Or maybe Drebber was the one you stole the waxwork, and he used the head in whatever the deception was. It made it look like Asmon teleported. Broken glass, you say? That's totally part of the Crystal Tower, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Oh, is it? Please don't turn around suddenly. Wait. So I was like half right in both my theories. Mr. Sholmes. This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the comic behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head, too sweet, as the madame say. I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry Iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations. Do you know, though, something about this room is strange. Strange? What do you mean? Well, the space in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not? Indeed they are, Mrs. Otto. Do go on. And
As terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. This one... This really couldn't ever really have happened, could it? I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago. Yes, let's. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies. Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful. After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in prison, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean that the professor's identity... As you surmise, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty, and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair. The very night that he was buried, a convicted man came back to life. Came back to life? He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene, and described by the sole witness to those chilling events. There's a witness? But of course, my dear fellow, there's none other than the young man in the white overcoat. So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago. The convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old. It's so horrifying. Scared out of his wits, young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. In the sheer terror of what he'd seen, is said to have turned his hair white overnight. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Dispel's. I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard, in the middle of the night. Yes, what was he up to? He was trying to make a Frankenstein. Professor Acts of Terror threw London's upper class into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal one month, I'd say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had. But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did people stop believing it?
Why, simply because there is no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact. But what do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave and located the cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution.
Oh. No, I mean, Mr. Trevor. Must have lied to the police and the newspapers.
That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking then. They should resurface now, don't you think? Anything else to look at? And would they put a real camera in the exhibit? Oh, Gina.
Well, what the blue, Nora? What have you gone and done?
Gina, what are you doing here?
I asked Iris, and she said this is where you'd be, so... No! Gina, not allowed in the museum.
On this house will have you take a position as a waxer if you're not careful. I think it might be a more pressing concern.
I still had some flesh found left from 6 months ago, so... Alright, Gina, we understand, but please, put down the gun. Roy, I got scared.
So what brings you here, Gina?
What brings me here? What do you think? We found it! We're in that dodgy cow's workshop.
What? Found Drebber's workshop? Did you find Drebber's workshop, Toby?
Yeah. That nose took me straight there. Boss and the others are heading over there now in his drag, so come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. Alright then, see you there.
You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still. What? I know my place. In the exhibit over there.
Oh dear. Tom is creating a song for himself.
Let's go, Mr. Sholmes, you're coming. Your words hearten me, I must say. If I were to shirk my duties here, Madam would have me pay monetary recompense, and Ars's dinner plate would be empty once more. Forget that, I'll pay for everything. It is not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail carriage just once. He has no money, he told you that, Naruhodo.
I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Mr. Sato. Right, let's go. It looks like
It's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
indeed it would appear so, though only a prototype, naturally.
So you got here then? Gina, well done for finding this place. In such little time. You really worked miracles. It's Toby who's the miracle worker.
Yes, he is. I thought your lot would show up before long. Hello, Inspector.
Oh, Inspector. Is there any sign of the engineer?
Definitely not. We didn't find a soul in the air.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us a chance to investigate. According to what Gina tells me, you only found the things to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to, say, go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I? Thank you. Anyway, you've opened the snoop around in here, and I get cracking. Well, Ventique's and the forensic investigation team are on their way here as we speak. Them again. I imagine you got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types. Right. But then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down whilst you have the chance. And you, Sholmes. Pardon? They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do lawyers. Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous work model. So much stuff to look at. Very good that. You left lots of evidence behind. Inosuke, man, you really need to study some science. Real science. You gotta cancel Inosuke, you already know he's an anti-vaxxer. What am I missing? What to say about this ladder? So if it's this big, did they just build it piece by piece on the stage during the exhibition? I totally hovered over that before.
Hey, what do you reckon, Toby?
Right, mind the grease. Those in there, open up! This is Scotland Yard. They ran away.
Oh my, someone is in there.
Or was. There's one bleeding block. My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only you were countenance, I could unlock that door in less than a minute. Fine, I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door. There, can we enter at will? Time's of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? Heading forward, I suppose. This is an emergency. There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow. Yes. Oh snap, is that a bomb? And are those footprints on the ceiling? What's happening here? Why is everything upside down?
Yes. There ain't no one here after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises.
Yeah, that's the sound of Jabber running away.
There's only one door into this room.
And no windows that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high. Ah, blow me, what have we here then? Like someone's trying to burn something in a hurry.
Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints.
To what? That Professor Hairbrain's spawning machine, is it? Blimey! If we had these, there had been no need to bug about trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There's something of great interest here too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. Rope? What's significant about that? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo.
We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrives too.
Yes, Shelms, let's examine this first. Mr. Shelms, have you found something? Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. Looks like a bundle of thick cigars wrapped in it. Mrs. Sato, what's the matter?
That's a... Really, that's a time bomb, isn't it?
What? Did you say?
Time bomb?
Sorry, but... What is a time bomb exactly? Eh? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruto.
I don't know nothing, do you, Odo?
You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina? I advise you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruto. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, but I confess it has a very similar appearance.
Oh, well, thank goodness. But then what is it?
It's a regular bomb. I see, so that's it.
Goodness, Mr. Sholmes. Seen to the heart of the matter?
There are times when I consider my lot most unfair. I'm fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Mr. Sato. Great deduction time. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Jebber himself.
Oh, how could you?
And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor here is, without question, completely genuine.
Yes, Mr. Sholmes. You must explain everything.
It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. I do not see it. I am looking away.
Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done.
You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Mrs. Sato.
Oh, yes. I'd be delighted.
So, I begin. Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present this logic and reasoning spectacular. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor.
Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that?
Indeed. The key here is gravity. It appears that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. For the gravity in this room was reversed, and then suddenly restored to normality.
Goodness.
The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I can understand your skepticism, Mrs. Sato. I too wasn't convinced at first. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device, almost identical to one that featured in a dream of mine only the other day, in fact.
But then why does it have a clock on it?
A most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction will switch. There's clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that the restoration occurred. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need look no further to explain the state in which we now find this room. The direction of gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Trevor, before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I've witnessed precisely this scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Sholmes says not how detecting works. Now, let's consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indeed, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads.
Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there in the ceiling?
A question whose answers will lead us nearly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Of course, Trevor's aim was singular, to escape. However, there is but one way into this room, excepting the skylight, that is.
Ah.
By inverting the gravity here, Trevor was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling, and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way.
But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. If the gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Trevor have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently?
Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was concerned with nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution.
Oh, the rope.
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one into the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling, which explains how Trevor was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. Let's conclude Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. Miss Shaw, there's one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is this a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean. I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. But your whole deduction hinges on it. My dear fellow. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. However improbable it may seem. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with that exact phrasing. My original was clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I've read it in something that Mrs. Sato lent me once.
Objection!
Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Holmes. The rope we found was on the floor, wasn't it?
Indeed it was, and lonely coils near the wall.
But if Mr. Trevor had used it to escape in the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall?
Mystery is inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find through ropes. As evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery we face in this room, now skillfully unraveled.
I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Holmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth.
Yes, you're right. And you must do it quickly before Enoch Driver gets too far away. If you're ready, then let's resume. Sherlock Holmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. And the save's still right side up, isn't it? Well, it's bolted to the floor, I see. I mean, it would be weird to bolt a safe to the floor. You don't really expect it to move. Oh, with these flowers.
Take that!
The upright boss clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, he's avouched yourself. I completely turning my argument on his head. Trying your best, your assistant here, perhaps? No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes. Trust me. She's not my girlfriend, gosh. As you rightly say, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down, this unassuming slender boss is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there's nothing affixing it to the floor. It's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes. But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. Why indeed? He just said it wasn't an anti-gravity device. Can we open the safe? So the furniture is just looked over because someone was looking for this combination.
Take that!
Yes. The reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination. Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, you had a very similar experience once, did you not? Yes, last year. When I bought a lottery ticket and noted the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book just in case. That's it. For people are forgetful souls at heart, and always make a written note of important information.
Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think.
And what pray happened next, Mr. Naruhodo? And the day after the draw came around, I'd forgotten which book I'd written the number in and had to turn my room upside down to find it. That's it. For people are forgetful souls at heart, and always forget where they've noted things down.
Not if you always know things in the same place.
I actually won the second prize, you know. I couldn't remember which magazines I slipped the ticket into, so I had to turn my room up. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe I proved my point now. But it's not a very similar scenario as clearly unfolded in this room. Finding yourself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he had written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one. Leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Driver overturned all the furniture in here. In a desperate hurry, to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. Can you open it now? Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Is that a shoe on top?
Take that!
The reason there are footprints in the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. On closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the thing was never just got out at all, but the balloon.
But for what purpose?
A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar data.
There's a piece of green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and I was found at the scene.
Inside the green balloon that Mr. Gotch claims he saw above the stage when the incident occurred was the second birdcage. The crux of the whole instantaneous condition is just deception.
You mean to say?
If we assume the balloon here is a model of the one issued on the day, there's a strong possibility something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile. Then we need a shoe. Most probably, Jabber intended to tear a hole in the envelope by sealing it with the shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights. I see why he left his crossbow at the park. He could have shot it down.
Here, we desperately need to examine that balloon. If only there was some way we could see inside.
You may recall that I found this in the room earlier. You can always use a good crossbow. To reach the intended destination, but better tool than this crossbow.
This is under the scene, in fact.
In all likelihood, it belongs to Mr. Jabber. And the man had only brought it away with him that day. He could have avoided losing his shoe at such a critical time as this. So you're just running around with just one shoe on. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Nut Jabber has hidden inside that balloon? Knight helmet? A waxwork? Indeed it is. A waxwork head inside a metal mask. The mask is shut tight and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock.
This moment, this is the head of a waxwork model? Does it mean... Goodness!
I see you've joined the dots, Mr. Sada. Excellent. The case of the abducted Madame Tussauds model that you largely solved. It's only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was. I believe Madame Tussauds will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as he announced surmise, is the head of the infamous professor. Yes.
But why is it here?
This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tussauds and returning it son's tip earlier today was none other than Enoch Jabber. I guess we'll get that back later. Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure.
The architect?
You mean Mr. Jabber? It seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously the man must still be here in the room. And his location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction. So, Mr. Naruto, will you do the honors? Yes, of course. Mr. Driver's hiding place must be the large dresser in the back. You know all about hiding in wardrobes, don't you, Inosuke? Driver, come up! Oh. Not there, Mr. Naruto. But I don't understand. You could always climb inside yourself. Please don't mind us, go ahead. I know how to under our wardrobes. I think there's nothing else, thank you very much. I heard a door close, or something like that. Where can he be now? Is he hiding in the safe? Can you open the safe from the inside?
Take that!
Before we gain access to this back room, we heard noises from in here. Ah, there's the metal door closing. Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time. He is in fact searching for the combination to his safe. I'm pressed for time, made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process. Which can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Driver is at this very moment inside the safe. Let's conclude Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. I mean, that doesn't seem like a safe place to hide. For real, is he enough air in there? So, Mr. Naruto. I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide and seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? Let's see. The combination was 432582. I knew that. That's a tight bit. You found me. Ooh, contortionist. And he's a cyborg. Alright then, sir. Mr. Enoch Driver, I presume? Correct. You better start talking. You tricked Professor Herring with that bogus machine you built. And you still have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Dispels as well. Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions. Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate? It is a time bomb. Your parcel? I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in the most prominent position. I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me then? No! Just Sholmes, we've only 7 seconds to spare. That was too close for comfort. I've got one foot in the grave already. Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed?
Magician seductions can be completely life-altering, can't they?
If we got blown up while we was doing that dumb dance now. God. Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say.
Anti-gravity devices don't exist.
What on earth happened in here? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. Yeah, well, we give you a thorough going over, don't you worry, Trevor. Wolfie has to click with me. It's how you're able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt.
Whistling?
Ah, that would have been me.
Huh.
For some reason, I woke up in fine fettle today. They must have a screw loose though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit into the skylight, but sadly the rope was too short. So, I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. Then burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe? I mean, first this parcel taking. Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. Quite a look he's got going on. Got a dead fish, have ya? I'm right beside a ticking time bomb. Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it. So in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely.
But once you climb inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again.
I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside, to allow the door to be unlocked from within. Huh, so it is. I had always intended to blow this place to smithers in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans. Do you mean to say you're planning to blow us up too? No. That was unforeseen. What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. I calculated the time required for retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless discourse in here threw a spanner in the works. And discourse ruining everything again. Is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face? Besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth? I think I have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. But what about the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor Harebrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor. And the mask of the lock so strong I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considered carrying it around as protection, after all. Oh, hello. What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here. Yes, well. And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew of this, he'd be finished. You lot, leave at once. My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, that's no way to greet an old acquaintance. This is Dr. Scythe. Hello, Jones. Jones knows everybody. It's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face. You're quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a show. You get out! But of course, more show says the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today. But Mr. Sholmes? Let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. I said get out! Now! All of you! Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. Understood. I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There's a time bomb sitting here that this lot disarmed. Inspector? Something giving you a chuckle, hasn't it, Jabber? So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes. You did disarm that one. Eh? What are you? That one? You mean? Oh dear. Oh god, where's the other one? Oh no. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. Oof. Sorry to leave on that cliffhanger, but that's all the time we got for this stream today. We'll have to pick this up next week. I'll see you then.